We also want to remind everyone that the books that we read during our programs here in the Zoom room, you also include on your list of stories that are read to you. So that'll count towards more tickets. So,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
okay.
So, are we ready to get started today? See some thumbs up there if you're ready to have a good time. Let's see thumbs up. Oh, yay. Very, very, very good. Well, welcome. We are so excited that all of you are reading with us this summer, and this is our first online program for the summer program. So we're glad you're able to join us. Today, our theme is actually Land of Stories, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of stories and how you use your imagination when you read. We do want to remind everybody that tonight's program is recorded, so it will be back up on Facebook. So if for some reason you decide that you don't want your image on Facebook or your voice, make sure you mute your microphone and block your camera. And Olivia is going to be keeping track of the room for us and make sure if anybody comes in later, she'll let them in the room. And she's kind of managing our mics as well tonight. So as we get started, let's start out with our story time song. Is everybody ready?
Nope.
If you're ready for a story, come sit down. Sing along. If you're ready for a story, come sit down. Let's all gather near so everyone can hear. If you're ready for a story, come sit down. Yay! Very good. So part of the important thing we do today is put on our listening ears. So let's see everybody's listening ears. Very, very good. We got to have those listening ears. And why is it important that we have on our listening ears? So everyone can hear. Very, very, very good. So we're going to start out with our first book, and it's a book that Miss Annette's going to read to you. So Toby's going to share her screen, so you'll be able to follow along in the book while she's reading.
Give me 1 second. Let me get this up and share screen in a jar. And present. There we go.
So after we read this book, we're going to tell you more about a jar that you can make. So we're excited that you can use that for the next 7 weeks if you would like to. This book is called In a Jar, and it's written by Deborah Marcero, and it is presented to us by the publishers of G.P. Putnam's Sons. Llewellyn was a collector. He collected things in jars. When he held a jar and peered inside, Llewellyn remembered all the wonderful things that he had seen and done. Right now, it looks like he has all kinds of fall leaves there. He collected small, ordinary things like buttercups, feathers, and heart-shaped stones. One night, the sunset painted the sky the color of tart cherry syrup. Llewellyn ventured down to the shore with as many jars as he could carry. A little girl named Evelyn was there too. Can you see her over there? She's real tiny by the ocean there. Llewellyn scooped the cherry lights into his jars, and when he was done, he gave one to Evelyn. Evelyn took the jar home, and to her surprise, it glowed through the night with the memory of that sunset. From then on, Llewellyn and Evelyn collected the things together. They collected things hard to hold, like rainbows, the sound of the ocean, and the wind just before the snow falls. They collected things that you might not think would even fit in a jar, but somehow they did. They collected the wonders of winter. See all those pictures of winter? The newness of spring. Can you see them in all the tulips with their ears sticking up? And the long days and shadows of summer. Look how tall their shadows are in that picture. The sun must be really right behind them. Then, over time, their jars filled the walls of Llewellyn's house. And on the bottom shelf in one of the corners, I see some laughter in there. That's my favorite jar when I'm looking at it. But one day, Evelyn had sad news. Her family was moving to a new town. Too soon, it was time to say goodbye. With Evelyn gone, Llewellyn's heart felt like an empty jar. Didn't have a thing in it, just sitting there by its lonesome. One night, Llewellyn laid awake. Falling stars glittered against the dark sky. He wondered if Evelyn could see them too. That gave him an idea. Llewellyn tiptoed out into the moonless night and collected the meteor shower in a jar. The next day, he prepared a package. He took it to the post office, it went on an airplane, and it was delivered by the post office. And when the box arrived, Evelyn opened the jar. The stars in the night sky fell all around her. Evelyn knew just what to do. She collected the sounds, the crowds, and the bright night lights of her new home, and she sent them all to Llewellyn. And so, when the golden leaves of autumn began to fall once again, Llewellyn set out to collect a jar full for Evelyn. A little boy named Max was there too. Luckily, Llewellyn had brought an extra jar. I bet he's going to be sharing his jars with Max for a while. Don't you all think so? Okay. So, in his jar, he had a lot of things that he could use for his imagination, especially when there were things like the sound of snow. You know, that's hard to see, but he had that in one of his jars and things like that. So this year, it's called Imagine Your Story, and we are going to start out our summer programs with an imagination jar. And so you all can go find a jar, a clear jar, or it doesn't even have to be a clear jar, but something that can hold little items from around your house and outside in your yard, because we're spending a lot of times in our yards now, aren't we? We are indeed. So I have this empty jar. I have this Rubbermaid container. I even have a strawberry container that I got from the grocery store, and I have a couple of shoe boxes to make mine with. And the way your imagination jar works is sometime during the day before you all sit down to have lunch or dinner, go around and you and each of your family members pick up a few small items and put it in your jar. And then after dinner, after you get the dishes all cleaned up, you all can sit around the table and tell a story based on the things that are in here. So all of us, Miss Toby and Miss Olivia and Miss Denise and I are going to show you how an imagination jar can work. Are you all ready? Thumbs up if you know. Okay. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
What's going on?
I don't know. Oh, it just fell. Just fell off of my computer. Look what it is right here. It's a hatchling. It's a blue hatchling. He doesn't know what to do. He just came out of his egg, and he turns around and he looks around and he goes, oh my.
So because he saw Mr. Happy Birthday Sock Monkey walking down the street, he's walking along and he's singing a birthday song, and he stops and he goes, oh, there's a blue creature coming out of that egg. I'm not really sure what it is. Is it a dinosaur? I don't know. It has wings. Maybe is it a dragon? Is it a lizard? I'm just not sure. Who might help me?
So the wise woman of the woods overhears the monkey's predicament, and she comes and she tells him it's a baby dragon, and it's lucky that you're here because this is his very first birthday. And so I'm going to invite a friend, and we can all have a birthday party now that you're here, birthday monkey.
She invited the bluebird. Oh, hello. Oh, we should sing him a happy birthday song, shouldn't we? Okay, ready?
Yay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, baby dragon. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Woohoo!
Thank you all very much. Very, very much. So I have had an opportunity to collect a lot of different things for my imagination jar because I've been doing this for a little bit. And so I have like a sheep that I'm going to put in there. I have a mermaid. I have a windmill. I have all kinds of things. Oh, I have an icky bug here, and I have a cotton ball. So this is how your imagination jar is going to work for you and your family if you all have fun just telling the stories around the table. So just look for tiny little items that'll fit in whatever jar you've chosen. And after dinner or around the campfire, if that's what you all are doing in your backyards, just pick one out, you start the story, hand it to somebody else, they add to the story, and that's how you're going to make your imagination jar work this summer.
Does that sound like fun to everybody? Let's get a thumbs up. Woo! Yes. Imagination jars for the win. Yay. Very, very, very good. Thank you, Miss Annette. Next up, we're going to share another story. Miss Toby's going to share her screen.
Oh, give me 1 second. Let me get it going here. Share screen. Share. We're going to switch to this one. So our next story is Daddy's Zigzagging Bedtime Story. And it is by Alan Lawrence Sitomer. And it's illustrated by Abby Carter. And it is published by Disney and Hyperion Books in New York. All right, you little pickle quackers. It's bedtime. Can I pick the book tonight? No, I want to, but it's my turn. No, it's mine. Just hold on a moment. Daddy has a simple solution. I'll choose the book tonight. Once upon a time, boring, Jake said. I heard it, Jenny added, like 2 million times. All right. How about this one? A long time ago, far, far away, older than a dinosaur egg, Jenny said. How about this? Nope. What about this one? Or this one? You know, when I was a kid, Daddy, did they have electricity when you were our age? Maybe another night. I wish Mommy had no friends so she could be home tonight instead of out to dinner. How about if Daddy invents a story instead? Once upon a time, there was a pretty little princess. Yay! Aww. Who drove a monster truck. But the truck was covered in shiny purple and silver sparkles made of magic fairy dust. Of course, the magic fairy dust allowed the monster truck to fly, so it could battle the evil space aliens of doom. With the help of an enchanted unicorn who baked vanilla cupcakes. But the leader of the aliens, Zorgon the fire burper, would never stop until he destroyed the planet. So the brave princess pulled out her laser saber, slapped on her X-ray invisibility glasses, canceled her play date with Emma, and hailed her army of adorable orphan kitty cats. That's a scary army. Kaboom! The princess defeated Zorgon. And everyone lived happily ever after. All right, let's clean up. It's time for bed. Daddy, can you tell me one more story? Yeah, just one, please, please, please. That was the best ever. Tomorrow, my little pickle quackers, Nighty night, and don't let Zorgon the fire burper bite.
What a fun story. So we love that story because it's talking about how he used his imagination to make stories, right? So that's what we're going to be doing all summer because, again, our theme is Imagine Your Story. So we're also going to try to do some crafts each week. So Miss Annette is going to show you what we're going to do for our craft that you can do after you finish today, and we'll have a place you can post your own pictures of what you do for crafts.
Okay, but before we do that, remember, Miss Denise, before we came on, we were talking about how each child has their own individual story and that it's the story of their name. Do you want to tell them a little bit more about that?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I skipped a spot. So everybody's name usually comes from something that's some meaning to their parents. So whether it be somebody you're named after the first name of a grandparent or an auntie or an uncle, or maybe your first name is your mother's maiden name. So all kinds of stories come from where your name came from. So that's a fun activity you can do as a family after dinner one evening, is talk a little bit about what your name is and where your name came from, and learn a little bit about the history and tell a little bit about how your story began, because your first story is how you got your name.
That's true. And that makes it an oral story, meaning that you've been speaking the story and that it hasn't been written down yet by anyone. So that'll be a special story just about you. And we will be connecting you all with some links that you can go and listen to some stories that have been made up. So those are also fun. One's about a chicken in a library, one's about Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle, and the other one is about a chipmunk. So you can listen to those. And also, as a reminder, the books that we read today are In a Jar and Daddy's Zigzagging Bedtime Story.
And I put the names of the books with the authors are in the chat. So if you want to grab those and make sure that you've got them for that. Also, the code for today, I think it's showing for everyone, but let me add it one more time just to make sure. But our secret code for today is Land of Stories, in all caps, no spaces, just all together, Land of Stories. So keep that in mind. And with those videos that Miss Annette was talking about, if you go to the events page on the Book Points website, the SCPL summer website where you log your books, those will be in today's event notes, so you can check on them there. So there's extra stories and things.
Yes. So our craft is this. You choose a word that is magic or sounds magic to you. I just use the word magic as an example of what it is, and I chose the colors of the rainbow, and I took crayons and just colored around them so that I could get this kind of a starburst shape here. So this would be the craft for this week, and if you would like to work on it throughout the week, when you join us next week, you can bring these with us, and while we're waiting for everyone to come in and join us, you can show us what you've done this week.
Absolutely. That sounds like a lot of fun to do. So thank you for that, Annette. So as we start thinking about winding up our program for tonight, Miss Annette has a little clue to tell you what we're going to be doing next week. Yes. So what are we going to be talking about next week, Miss Annette?
Well, I can't tell you what we're going to be talking about, but I'm going to show you 2 items that you're going to look at and wonder what we're going to be doing with these next week. The first, can you see?
What is that?
It is a slice of white bread. So we're going to have a slice of white bread and
what is that?
An empty egg carton.
So that's your clue for next week. So you're going to
come back. Yeah.
Come back and see what might happen. You just never know when you're imagining your stories. So very, very good. So we are so glad you came to join us today for the program. Hope everybody had a really good time. So let's finish up with our closing song. Is everybody ready? The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Yay! So did everybody have a good time? Can I see some thumbs up? Oh, we're so glad you had a good time. So you know that we can't leave any library program without doing our library cheer. So Olivia's going to unmute everybody unless you've muted yourself. So she's going to turn off your microphone, turn on your microphones now. So if you're not on, you'll want to unmute yourself, and you're going to count with us to 3, and we're going to do the library cheer. So is everybody ready? Here we go. 1,
2,
3.
Library!
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 Yay! So glad you guys came today.
Yes.
So everybody had a good time?
Yeah.
Good,
Thank you
good,
for-
good.
I saw that Vesper, I think, had a question earlier.
Yes.
Does she still have a question? She was raising her hand. I didn't.
Yeah, you're muted. You're
You're
muted.
muted, Olivia.
There
If
you
you
go.
want mute. Yeah.
All right, she wanted to tell a story of her own.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
right.
she's welcome. If she
Yes.
wants to, she can go ahead.
Want to tell the story? Gotta speak up. You forgot it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we can write
Oh.
it down and share
No
it.
problem. No
But may-
problem.
But maybe
Next
she'll remember it for next week, and while we're waiting for people to come in, she can tell us her story.
Yeah.
We would love to
Absolutely.
hear it.
So
would
we
love to
also
hear it.
we also want to remind everybody that while our library building is still not open because we're still preparing and having to quarantine books and do different things like that, that you can go to our online catalog at the SCPL website, and you can look through our catalog there and place holds on books. And then we'll give you a call and tell you when your books are ready, and you can come to our drive-up window behind the building and pick up books there. We also remind you that if you go to our website and to our resources page, there's the Hoopla app and the Libby app for Overdrive, and there are tons of online books and ebooks and streaming videos and all sorts of things that you can borrow right from home. So we really appreciate your patience with us as we keep working on the library and want to make it safe for everyone before we let folks back in. So we're glad you joined us today. The recording for this will be up tomorrow, so we'll post a little short snippet of it to Facebook, but we're really, really glad you guys came today. We'll look forward to talking to you very, very soon. So thanks so much for coming, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye, everyone.